Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you back to another fun-filled, action-packed episode of How We'd Book It, brought to you by the Push Start Media Network, where you can't do anything in life unless you just push start. I am the world-famous J. Brandon Ingram, broadcasting to you live in sunny Myrtle Beach, South Kakalaki, alongside with...
Hi, I'm Christain Ingram.
Oh, sounds so excited.
Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm Christain Ingram. I'm a podcaster, YouTuber, TikToker, Twitch streamer, anything I can get my hands on to just have fun.
Well, good. So you're pushing start everywhere you can, I see.
I am. I even got me a banner for when I go to Virginia Comic-Con, VA Comic-Con, November 20th at the Richmond Raceway. I hope to see you there because I have a table.
With your big smiling face. Anyway, so the last couple of times we've been covering the atoms, and we're just going to jump right into this. Today we are covering Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF.
He's better than you.
And you know it.
So MJF, let's just, I'm going to pull up his Wikipedia real quick because that's where I get my information from. But like the first time I saw him was, I don't remember exactly where I saw him. First, I think it was AEW. It might have been one of the first pay-per-views. I think it might have been.
No, the first time I saw him was on MLW.
MLW. See, I never watched MLW. I knew he was there, but I'd never seen him. I think
it only came on a brief moment. I think it was Access TV, like Impact, or it might have been some. No, I don't even know what channel. Come on, this was. They had Jim Cornette there for a little bit doing some announcing. They had brought in Tony Schiavone before he went to AEW. Tony Schiavone actually was, I don't know if he got out of that contract or if Tony Khan bought it out or they just let him out. Because Court Bauer, the owner of MLW, actually used to work for WWE as a writer, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's where Tony was when Tony Khan brought him into AEW.
Yeah. So that's where he started in 20. Well, he was in CZW from 2015 to 2018.
I can't see him in CZW, but okay.
No, I can't either. That's crazy. So, I did see that he had uploaded a video to be a contestant on WWE's Tough Enough.
No.
And they didn't pick him. That surprised me because I saw the promo he cut and it was really good.
Well, a lot of things work out because, listen, I'm like, we're just going to dive right into this. I mean, the shit that he's coming out and saying, there is no way in hell they'd let him say that in WWE. I mean, let's just be real. There is no way. They'd have done snatched him off TV so quick his head would have spun.
Jesus Christ. I'm older than MJF.
Yeah, he's only 24.
25. He was born March 15th, 1996.
So you're about 6 months older than he is, 5 months.
A little something like that. Oh, Jesus Christ. So
he's older than me though, so it's all good.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what to say to that.
Well, just say okay.
Okay.
Yep. So, anyway, look, just dive right into it, man. I mean, the show's called How We'd Book It, and there's not a lot of things that I wouldn't change much on. I know that, Jericho had to beat him in that last match. I don't even think they should have had the last match, to be honest with you. But I know Jericho's had to get his win back, whatever. And they didn't really make MJF look weak with the way it went down because of the restart and all that shit, whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it that way. But, I mean, the kid is good. I mean, he's not the biggest guy in the world. Sometimes they are showing stuff with Wardlow, like it looks like they're going to break them up, and then they look like they're back on the same page. That's eventually coming because I know they want Wardlow to be a big star with that $1 million body he's got.
Yeah.
But, the comparisons are out there, but I mean, at the end of the day, and, I know you weren't around for it, but MJF's the closest thing to Piper we've had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can learn one thing from Roddy Piper,
don't get stabbed.
Well, that too, but, Piper would not lay down for anybody. And I know that was Shawn Michaels' big thing, but I mean, and when you listen to interviews of Piper, Piper's thing was it wasn't because he thought he was better than Hogan or bigger than Hogan and stuff of that nature. And he didn't mind, his partner taking the fall in the tag team matches like at WrestleMania and stuff like that. But his opinion was that once Hogan beat him, there was nothing left for him to do.
He was a Joker to Hogan's Batman.
Yeah, and the way that's what he said. He said once that Hogan beat him, there was nowhere left to go for him except back down. And it's like the one match that around that time frame that you remember him losing was when Bret Hart beat him for the Intercontinental title. And he still laughs about, well, he did until the day he passed. He always brought up the factor of that technically the referee shouldn't have counted the 3 because he had the sleeper hold on and he had the offensive move in. So the referee shouldn't have counted. He brought up the little loophole. He said that was the one thing he knew, that when he got the title, that's why he never really wanted the title, was that eventually he'd have to lose it. And, he once he got to that stage in his career and him and Hogan were going back and forth with the Rock and wrestling and all that stuff. I mean, he was just steadfast that he was not laying down. It wasn't just for Hogan. It was for anybody, because once he got beat, that's what him running his mouth, that's what people wanted to see, was him get beat. And they kept buying tickets hoping he would get beat, but it just never happened.
No, that's true. And that's where I think they really need to project MJF, because they haven't done a great job of that. Not that they haven't done a great job. It's that he's lost to a lot of people. I mean, he's beaten a lot of people, but he hasn't beat anybody main event star. He lost to John Moxley. He lost to Jericho. Granted, he did beat Jericho about 3 times, but I don't think they should have had that last match, like you said. I love Jericho. Jericho's my favorite wrestler, but Yeah, that stuff with Jericho just lasted way too long. The comedy skits they did when he was part of the Inner Circle and when they were, that went on way too long. Jericho, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, it seemed like Jericho latched onto him because of the buzz he was getting and everything, and he wanted to, he wanted to be on the bandwagon. I mean, same in my opinion, same thing with Orange Cassidy. The buzz with Orange Cassidy, and he wanted to jump on it and be part of it. I mean, it's like, look, man, I know you're getting older, but you're still Chris Jericho. You don't have to latch on to these little younger guys. I mean, he did put both of them over, relevant. So I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to say. I'm not behind the scenes. I'm not a booker, but this is called having.
He didn't. Well, it's like if you look at it though, did Orange Cassidy? He didn't pin Jericho. He knocked him in a damn tub of orange juice.
Yeah, that's true too. He didn't pin his shoulders down for the 1, 2, 3. So I don't know, but MJF since his debut he's done a lot. He's challenged for the world title. He's had a feud with Jericho. He won the Dynamite Diamond ring twice. He's now the leader of the Pinnacle, which includes
and that's another thing too. They either need to, in my opinion, wrap this group up, or they need to, when's the last time you actually saw FTR out there with the Pinnacle? I mean, the closest thing they did was when they beat the Lucha Brothers for the AAA tag titles a couple weeks ago, and that's the first interaction with MJF that they've had in ages.
Yeah, no, I agree. They need to be more of a 4 horsemen type feel, because that's what they are.
Well, either that or, MJF, and I like Tully. Tully's great with FTR, but MJF doesn't need Tully.
No, he doesn't.
Piper always had Bob Orton with him or Paul Orndorff. So, him and Wardlow are a good package because, Orndorff was great in the ring. He wasn't a great promo. Orton was great in the ring, wasn't a great promo. I mean, it worked. And, I'm not, you don't really hear Wardlow on the mic enough for me to really say where he needs to go with it or what kind of changes he needs to make. But I mean, MJF and Wardlow are a good package. And, so either if you're going to run with the Pinnacle, run with it. If not, just, get away from it. You don't have to even feud the guys. Just, have them back. All right, man, we did this. It was cool. If you need me, I'm here. Good luck. However you want to do it. Or you could even have MJF be MJF. It's like, I don't need these guys, Mm-hmm. But moving forward, if Tony Khan is the old school fan that he claims to be, and I mean, I don't have any reason to doubt him in his word. And I'm not talking about the WCW days of Piper, when he came out and he'd had it hit, Piper knew he wasn't Piper of old anymore. And, So yeah, he beat Hogan the one time, and then he laid down for him. Let Hogan get his win back. They were by far, things had changed by then, and people were getting paid just by their contract, not by how many tickets got sold. So thinking changed. But go back and look at how Piper was booked. In the early '80s when he first came into WWF and started feuding with Hogan, and watch. And I mean, again, yes, MJF, especially if they put the world title on him at some point, is eventually going to have to lose a match. But I mean, you don't need to put him over strong against anybody he beats to make him look weak. I mean, his character is such that, even if he taps somebody out with that armbar, because Wardlow got involved, because something happened, kind of like, with Jericho, when he tapped Jericho out, he had the bad elbow and had been attacked week after week after week with those matches and everything. I mean, there's ways to get around it without making MJF lose. I mean, it's like Darby, the match with Darby coming up. Darby does not need to win. He's over with the fans.
Yeah.
And you need to keep the heat on MJF. And I mean, there's just, this is simple for me. I mean, let the kid keep doing what he's doing and don't beat him no time soon. And eventually, what people tune into and what, this is why even Dusty as a booker, yeah, Dusty was a 3-time world champion, but, Dusty could have put the belt on himself anytime he wanted to, being in charge, but he knew the ratings were, watching, the
chase,
the babyface, the chase, watching the babyface chase the asshole champion that's been beaten tag team matches, that's been, ran away, got counted out, a lot of things you can't do anymore. Like, one of the old school Dusty finishes would be, people coming out and the referee get knocked down, and you see Dusty throw, for example, Flair over the top rope, but the referee's laying down and the second referee runs out and Dusty, pins Flair and he's got the title and he's holding up. Then the other referee recovers and comes in and says, Dusty's disqualified. He threw Rick over the top rope. I saw it laying outside. Again, the top rope's not a disqualification anymore, but that's the way they used to get around it. And then that really got, sometimes it would piss the fans off, but it's still
keep them coming back.
Exactly. My guy can beat him. He's going to get that title. And it was all like, so whether it was, it just like, that's why the NWO worked as well. It's like, once Hogan turned heel and got that belt, man, people wanted to see Hogan get his ass kicked. And that's where Goldberg took off. Goldberg finally took the belt off of Hogan. And that was Hogan's decision. He didn't have to do that. And, Hogan is the one who made that call and put those wheels in motion for Goldberg to beat him on Nitro in Atlanta that week. And, people have shit on Bischoff all over. And I was one of them. Like, why the hell would you put that on a Monday Nitro? And I heard Bischoff's explanation saying they were a TV company. They were there to get the sponsors and the ratings. And, the pay-per-views were just a very small part of their money. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. But back then I didn't. I was used to the other stuff where you had to buy the pay-per-view to get that main event. But, like I said, for me, it's easy. I wouldn't change anything up with MJF right now and just put him on a path to where, and AEW's got a lot of fires going right now with all the people they brought in between Adam Cole and CM Punk and Bryan Danielson and stuff like that.
And soon to be maybe Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, you just keep moving MJF through the baby faces. Let him do what he's doing, and eventually you put the title on him, and because I'm sure he wants the title, and the kid's on fire.
So, in my opinion, this is called how we book it, but like, I love MJF. Like, is he the best in the ring? No, he's not. He's passable though, which is good for him because like.
And again, who does that remind you of?
Piper. Piper was never. He was never Ric Flair in the ring.
Piper was a brawler.
Yeah, and that's. I wouldn't call MJF a brawler, but he's not technically sound. He's not Kenny Omega. He's not Adam Cole. He's not even the Young Bucks, but he's believable enough to have a good match. But his promos are his bread and butter, and that's where he's really going to shine. Now, I think his best promo was the whole Brian Pillman promo. That shit was savage as hell.
And they let him get away with it. Again, it goes back to what we said at the beginning of the show with it's probably a good thing he didn't get in WWE because, those promos are scripted and there's no way in hell they're going to let him go out there and do that. So, he sometimes you thank God for unanswered prayers, and that was probably one of them for him. Now, eventually, if he keeps growing at 24 the way he's growing, will he eventually be in WWE? Probably. Maybe not. You never know, but never say never. I mean, nobody ever thought Flair would go, and, Flair wound up going in 91, 90, whatever it was, with the belt.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, I think if he keeps growing, and his contract comes up, I think they might throw stupid money at him to come over there. But, it'll be what's Tony Khan match it. Does he really want to go over there and not be able to be what got him on top? I mean, that's a lot of questions down the road. But no, I don't really, my only thing that I would say, how we'd book it is just, you cannot let him lose anytime soon. You can't let him lose to Darby Allin. You can't let him go out there and build up all this heat just to go get beat, because that's not what people want to see him get his ass beat, but you got to keep him wanting more. And it's like when he lost the match to Jericho, I forgot what promo he cut on that following Wednesday night, but he come out there and he got his heat right back. And a lot of people don't know how to do that.
No, and to be so young, it's crazy, because there's people who's been in for 20, 25 years who can't do that. And that's where I see MJF. He's going to be a big star in the future. But as far as how we'd book it, after this whole Darby Allin feud, which I would have MJF go over, have them do some crazy shit at the pay-per-view, and have MJF cheat to win. That's fine, because that's his character. But after he beats Darby Allin, I would have him come out the next Dynamite, be like, oh, I beat Darby Allin, now I can beat CM Punk. And I would have him hand CM Punk his first loss in AEW.
Yeah, that's somebody, and that's not a bad idea, actually, because it's like, when that, and it's not that I care. I mean, I always told you how I felt the Undertaker should lose at WrestleMania for the first and only time.
Yeah.
And I always, my ultimate fantasy for that was when Taker was ready to retire, have him lose his one and only match that he would lose at WrestleMania, not have him get up and acknowledge anybody, have him lay there, have the Druids come out, put him in a casket, roll him back, be done. And then let him come out the next night on Raw and thank everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted for the Undertaker to go out. Didn't happen that way.
No.
And, like, for example, what you're saying, if CM Punk were to lose to, say, Bryan Danielson doesn't need that rub. Just like Brock Lesnar did not need the rub of beating the Undertaker.
No,
if he had lost to Taker at WrestleMania, just like he lost to Roman last week, he'd have still been Brock Lesnar. He'd have still been the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Vince McMahon and Tony Khan and these other guys that are bringing these companies up need to stop and look at. It's like, who needs the rub of giving CM Punk his first loss? And it doesn't have, like you said, it doesn't have to be clean. You don't have to tap him out with the damn arm bar to make CM Punk look weak.
You could have Wardlow interfere with the ref knockdown.
And that would actually be a great feud, because both of them are great on the mic, and CM Punk's one of the few guys there that could probably hang with him on insults. So no, I agree with you there. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, somebody's got to hand CM Punk his first loss, and that would keep him out of the world title picture a little bit longer, giving him somebody to have a long-term feud with while Kenny does whatever Kenny's going to do with Bryan Danielson, Adam Page. And I'm pretty sure Bryan Danielson's going to win this tournament.
Oh, yeah, no, I already called it.
That's why I don't think Adam Page will win the title at the pay-per-view, because it'll set up Kenny and Bryan Danielson again.
I'm still hoping they do that finish I suggested on 2 episodes ago. So if you want to go listen to that, do it after this.
But yeah, no, that's actually a great idea. It would it's good. It would be great mic work for the fans. It would be entertaining. And like I said, I don't have any long-term story for MJF as far as like who, they just need to honestly keep him on the path he's on. And I feel bad for Pillman, because I don't know what they're doing with him, or if he's got something going on, but you really haven't seen him since. I know he cut his hair, and I was like, what the hell did you do?
Yeah, that was a little weird.
But as far as that goes, I mean, just to me, as far as whatever, I mean, he's the best thing they've got going. He's the most entertaining thing. And, it's a lot of laughing, and it's a lot of, did he really say that? Oh, shit.
Methanoon?
And she should have swallowed you. Oh, it was great. But, I mean, let him keep doing him. And, but the only thing about you got to understand too with CM Punk, if CM Punk lays down for him, CM Punk's going to want his win back.
Oh, I understand that. And
I know a lot of people, a lot of people don't get that about people beating people, but it's like I told you with Piper and Hogan, this was 13 years later, but Piper wouldn't lay down for him in WWF. And then, they went out there and they wrestled, Piper never needed the world title to be Roddy Piper. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Flair craved that belt. Flair craved that lifestyle. He got to travel as the NWA champion, go all over the world. Flair, he loved it. And, but Piper never needed the world title to be Roddy Piper. And, but like I said, fast forward to years later with the NWO and bringing Piper in, Piper put him to sleep. He didn't pin him for the 1, 2, 3. And then he went out there and had no issue giving Hogan his win back simply because he was under contract. He didn't give a shit if at that point in his career, he still loved the fans, but there could have been 2 people in the audience and he got paid the same. He didn't care.
Yeah. So, I mean, MJF, I do think he does need this world championship, though. He needs that rub to be a main event guy. Because, I mean, the belt.
Okay, but honestly, though, think about what you just said for a minute. What you said first makes more sense. Beating CM Punk, honestly, right now is a better rub than carrying around that AEW.
Oh, no, I agree with you 100%, but he needs to beat Punk to get to that world title level.
And, and when he does finally win it, you don't, there's, if you really want to make him a legit champion, then okay, when he wins the title for the first time, then you can put him over cleanly. But depending on who's champion and how it goes, God, I can't think of who CM Punk wrestled. Didn't he wrestle one of the Acclaimed?
No, so he's wrestled Darby Allin. He wrestled Powerhouse Hobbs.
Wasn't him.
He wrestled Bobby Fish.
No. He wrestled one of those kids on Rampage that had a tag team partner on the outside.
I thought it was Powerhouse Hobbs.
No.
Let me see. AEW matches so far. Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second. I am looking. Let's see. I'm just going to go to his Wikipedia because this isn't helping me. So hang on 1 second. I don't think he wrestled any of the Acclaim, though.
No, he's had 5 matches.
Okay, well, go back up. Come on.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I know. So let's see. I hate when people call me when I'm in the middle of something because it's connected to my laptop. Where is it? AEW. It doesn't even tell me. Jesus Christ. He wrestled Daniel Garcia and Matt Sydal.
Okay. When he was wrestling Garcia, whoever was it wasn't Leo Rush. I guess it was his brother on the outside.
No. It was Daniel Garcia. It was 2.0 on the outside.
Okay. They distracted Punk, and he got, they clipped his leg, or Dante Martin clipped his leg, and then Punk sold the leg for the rest of the match. It gave, it without making Punk look weak, it showed how, he got distracted and he was like really selling for Dante Martin, and throughout the rest of the match, he sold the leg the whole time. I'm just saying there's ways to do things.
Yeah.
Because in theory, you would think, okay, this kid, Punk's just going to go out there and within 2 minutes put him to sleep. And so, I mean, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
There's just ways to do things. But with Punk, like I said, if Punk, they go that route, and that wouldn't be a bad way to go. Because like I said, Punk's not in the world title tournament. His next opponent, I told you, is going to be Eddie Kingston. Because of what happened last night. But, once they get through that, that would be a great promo battle. And, you could do that for 5 or 6 weeks before you finally ever let them touch at the next pay-per-view. And that definitely needs to be a pay-per-view match, not a Dynamite or...
That needs to be their big pay-per-view. What is it? Double or Nothing is their big one?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But, yeah, like I said, you know, you don't put that match on TV because they're not in the TV business. They're in the wrestling business. And right now they don't have the network. They have to sell pay-per-views, and that mouthing back and forth. If you get enough viewers on your show, that one alone would sell some pay-per-views.
Oh yeah, no doubt. That could headline a pay-per-view, no doubt. I'm just thinking of the promo battle back and forth between CM Punk and MJF.
Yeah. So that's about all I got with it though.
Is there anybody else you'd like to see him go up against as far as on the mic with?
Not really, because I don't think anybody in the company right now but CM Punk can hang with him.
Well, that's a testament to how good he is. But I know.
I mean, him and Adam Cole would be kind of comical, but Cole's got other fish to fry first as well.
Maybe have Adam eventually win the world title, and that be who MJF faces for the world championship.
That would be some good long-term storytelling. Like I said, with get through the feud with Kenny and Bryan and all that stuff, and whatever, and then move forward. But yeah, I mean, besides CM Punk, I can't see anybody that can hang with him on the microphone except for Adam Cole.
No, I agree. So as far as MJF, his future is bright, and there's nowhere to go but up from here. And maybe, hopefully, Tony Khan, if you're listening, you'll book him the right way and have him go against CM Punk here soon. But Jason, anything else?
No, that's that's all I got, man. I mean, kid's 24 years old, 25. I guess you said he just turned 25. No, I agree. He's got a bright future ahead. All
right. Well, guys, you can find me on any social media at Chris Ingram 335, YouTube as the Power Rangers guy. Come out to VA Comic Con November 20th at the Richmond Raceway. I will be there. I'll have my own table. I'll have some action figures for sale, and hell, maybe you can get my autograph. Not that it means shit, but if you want it, you can have it.
Autograph. You can find me all over the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. J. Brandon Ingram. You can email me at j.brandoningram@gmail.com. Any suggestions, comments, just to say, hey, what's up? But in the case of MJF, I guess that's how we'd book it.